Hey everybody, I am back with just a general update today. I kind of do these every once in a while rather than just showing the finished product because I tend to have lots of different stuff on the go, particularly lately. Rather than focusing on one thing, I just find it easier to have multiple things going on excuse me, at the same time. So what I have first to show, and I'm not gonna do an actual video just showing this guy separately, but I have my my Knights of Griffin Tactical Squad Sergeant, and so did him very much the same way that I did the other tactical members of the squad, and I mean, obviously he has more stuff on him. I had mentioned in another video that what I wanted to learn from this was to work on his face, and just do some layering of paints and try to just do, a bit of a different, I guess normally I do quick shade like on my Eldar faces, and I just wanted to actually spend some time using some flesh washes and multiple skin tones and mixing some paints to try and get some realistic looking effects that way. I did him, of course this is fluorescent as usual, so everything is a little bit brighter and shinier, or even blanched out, sometimes the color, but I'm pretty happy with the way he came out. It's funny, when I asked my wife about it, she said he looks pretty evil, and I said, well, I think to a degree that's the sculptor's fault. I mean, he looks very intense, very serious, for sure. I also have some flesh wash in there and behind his eyes, and he looks fairly, intense, I would say. And you know what? I'm kind of good with that, because I actually am of the opinion that Space Marines aren't purely good, actually. So, and so that kind of works for me. He looks like a fairly sinister looking sergeant, keeping his guys in line. Probably, vying to be a captain one day and upset that he's not one now. And so, yeah, so there we are. I did free hands, and nothing fabulous, but I did some hazard stripes on there and some wear on them. That is new for me. It's funny, I actually started out by getting some masking tape and thinking I was going to masking tape it, and even like using a razor blade and slicing up thin pieces and stuff, and I quickly said, forget this, I'm just going to freehand it. I think it came out good. I'm pleased with it, and other than that, I don't think there's too much else that's new here on this. I think that's it. That's just my sergeant. So now I can move on to other things. I've got my first tac squad complete. As a side note, I did actually win an eBay auction where I got some old Space Marines, so they're not from the Assault on Black Reach set. They're basically 5 Space Marines, but one of them's a missile launcher. And I'm going to use the missile launcher for this squad. Now, he may end up looking slightly different because I think it says 1991 or 1992 on it, but it's that version of the missile launcher where he's holding sort of like a cord and a joystick, and he's pressing, like, to launch it. So it's an older version. But as I had said in the past, my army here is going to be a mixture of Forge World, recent stuff, 40K, 30K, and different things. So that fits right in. And so I'll be able to throw him in alongside the Flamer because I didn't get that missile launcher like I mentioned, and so I'll be throwing him in there. So aside from that, I have got my Dreadnought going, and you'll probably be wondering, like, that doesn't look like orange, like Knights of Griffin, and it's true, it's not. For those of you that have a pretty good eye or know your chapters, you might recognize this as Space Wolf Gray or Rust Gray. The reason I did this gray like this is not because I'm doing a Space Wolf army. In particular, I'm reading Thousand Suns right now, and I'd have to say I'm a bit of a Thousand Sun Magnus sympathizer, and so you probably won't see me doing a Space Wolf army anytime soon. But that's just trivia you don't really need to know. So this is going to be the primer that's going to be underneath the orange. If it looks kind of sticky or glazy, it's because I actually used Vallejo's chipping medium through my airbrush over it, and basically I'll be showing a gray, this Space Wolf gray undercoat in some spots. It's just as if it's the primer. I actually like the color of this rust gray, and I was trying to determine whether I was going to go gray or brown or blue. I wasn't really sure what to do, and it's important because you know, even your contrast for your chipping and what you're showing as undercoating can really change the look of the model. And so with orange, I just wasn't sure. And so I decided to go between gray and blue and go with this sort of Space Wolf kind of color underneath, because I think it'll actually look good. And it'll actually show sort of the contrast where the chips are in the black and weathering and things really well. So that is that. So he's coming along, and next steps will be to work on him. For my D&D fans, I am working on the ghouls. And so this is at the dry brush stage. I've sprayed them a base color, and I have now dry brushed them. But I've not painted the detail and started working on the detail. So they will have their own video showing them finished in the various stages, including this one. I did just 2 different colors like I do sometimes. Basically, you know, I don't like to do all 3 the same most of the time. I like to do one that's different. I don't know. That's kind of the tradition I've been doing, and so I'm kind of sticking with it. And lastly, this is something I haven't started, but I've been wanting to do for a while, and I think I've mentioned it before, I'm not positive, but I've, you know, wanted to do some home games at times, and as much as I like building terrain, and I've done some stuff building on terrain, I really think these GW terrain sets, old ones, you know, I think they've been around for a while, but I don't have any other than this one. I think they're fabulous. I really like them. And, you know, like most gaming, excuse me, most gaming clubs will have them. You know, they'll have these sitting on the tables, and, you know, but I think they're just awesome, and they're really great opportunities to paint as well. You know, I think there are lots of opportunities for some cool effects with them. And so I will be putting this together soon and be able to use this to be able to perhaps have Eldar versus Knights of Griffin at the house, which will be kind of cool. So, alright everybody, so that is my update, and hope your weekends are going well, and I will be talking to you soon. Take care.